Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, sometimes it's good to have weasels and positions of power than having hotheads and people with too much courage. That's why moderation or temperation is good and is still an ancient Greek value, which is good that we have it and we remember it. Why? Because a hothead would have been finishing the deal in Ukraine and finish us in the meantime. So, or not in the meantime, but as a result. So I'm talking about people with no power saying shit, and very, very dangerous thing. I hope we don't get to this point, but you know what I mean. This article comes from Newsweek. It is from yesterday, 17th of December 2022. Russian lawmaker. Moscow will use missiles to burn Europeans with napalm. Now this is what he said. So Moscow will use missiles to burn Europeans with napalm. Napalm, you know, that flaming thing that was, I know it was illegal to use, but Americans used it in Vietnam, in Nam. Okay, that's crazy speech right here. Russian lawmaker recently made, you say, well, he has power, he's a lawmaker. He is, but he has no power to the napalm. I'm talking about. Russian lawmaker recently made the alarming call to, and I'm quoting, burn European allies with napalm while discussing the ongoing invasion of Ukraine. Some people are reaching a limit, and some people, you know, have to prevent them from reaching that limit, especially if they have a power to do something that, you know, is a resultant of losing control. A clip of the exchange was shared to Twitter on Saturday by Julia Davis, creator of the Russian Media Monitor, a Russian state-run news watchdog outfit. In the video, Pyotr Tolstoy, I heard this guy again before. I don't know if this is really related to the Tolstoy or not. A member of the State Duma chamber of the Russian government discussed the length the nation's effort to take control of Ukraine on a Russian news program and dismissed the effectiveness and importance of Ukrainian allies in Europe, claiming that they will be swept into the dustbin of history, end quote. And I'm quoting again. I couldn't care less what happens to French President Emmanuel Macron, he said, end quote. Tolstoy said, and I'm quoting again. What is important to me is that we take Odessa, Kiev, Dnipro, Poltava, Sumy, Kharkiv. This is what's important to me. As far as Macron, for Angela Merkel, the Poles, the Balts, the Baltic states, they aren't important to me at all. In response to Tolstoy's remarks, the program's host pushed back, saying that the discussion of European leaders in relation to Ukraine was necessary, but he argued the likelihood of Russia taking control of certain critical regions of the country would depend on whether or not German Leopards, the tanks, the French howitzers, were deployed to them. The lawmaker continued his defiance, which Davis characterized in her tweet as bravado, saying that the European aid is no match for Russian firepower. And I'm quoting again, Tolstoy. We make excellent missiles. We will burn European humanitarians with napalm along with their weapons on the territory of Ukraine. End quote. Wait a second. We will burn European humanitarians with napalm along. Okay. End quote. Rhetoric from some Russian leaders and members of the Russian media has continued to escalate in severity as the invasion of Ukraine grows even more protracted and troubled. This has included insinuation that Russia could attack other nations for providing aid to Ukraine, which former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev notably stating that NATO member nations could be, and I'm quoting, legitimate military targets. Well, what do you think? Medvedev, yeah. Medvedev, Russian President Vladimir Putin's ally and current deputy chairman of Russia's Security Council, made a claim in a recent post made to his Telegram account. And I'm quoting, "Today the main question is whether the hybrid war de facto declared on our country by NATO can be considered to be the alliance's entry into war with Russia? Question mark. Is it possible to view the delivery of a large volume of weapons to Ukraine as an attack on Russia?" Medvedev wrote, and I'm quoting again, "The leaders of NATO countries keep unanimously squawking that their country and the entire bloc are not at war with Russia. Yet everyone is well aware that this is not the case." End quote. I stated many times before that I think that this analogy works. I'm at war, let's say, with my neighbor, and I'm winning, and the neighbor is going back, doesn't win, and then all of a sudden, like 20 other neighbors provide my neighbor that I'm fighting with military, with weapons, with technology, with information, with intelligence and all that, and he starts killing me. He starts killing my family, killing my my group here. Now, how should I consider those who gave those guys the weapons to kill me and the information, the help to kill me, to kill my, my army? Yeah, I think you are involved by that, aren't you? Because that guy without you would not kill them. With you, kills me. So it's very clear. Your help kills me. Your help, no help from you, doesn't kill me. So I don't know what's so much debate about who's involved and who's not. I mean, really, it's just euphemisms here and double speak. The thing is, the Russians and the Americans are very well in contact. I have no doubt about it. And the contact occurs behind the scenes. Sometimes we are allowed to see what they allow us to see. And they're over there. And I think they control things. I just posted the video with Americans as an example. Told the Ukrainians not to kill General Gerasimov, Yevgeny Gerasimov, who was visiting the front lines in April. And withheld information, intelligence, how the Ukrainians can blow him up. But supposedly the Ukrainians did not care about it, and they tried to kill him anyway. Well, that's doubtful over there. But anyway, probably that was before the Americans took control of the whole thing, when the Ukrainians tried to negotiate with the Russians in Istanbul, right? Remember that one? And when they came back, who landed? Bozo, or whatever his name is. Boris Johnson, the then Prime Minister of Great Britain. And then overnight, Ukraine did not like the proposals they make to the Russians. And things changed. That was like, all right, probably they were told, hey, buddies, we were not giving you any more anything. And Boris Johnson did not say that from him. I think he was sent by other individuals to go and smack around the Zelensky club over there, the kosher club, and tell them, hey, after all, we support you. Without us, you're nothing. If we just take our hands off of you, the Russians are going to mow you down. So you better do what we say, continue to do that, and you're going to follow orders, or so be it. And then the next day, the Ukrainians communicated with, or whatever they stated, no, we don't want the offers that we proposed yesterday in the meeting in Turkey, no more valid. You don't know if Boris Johnson was sending the message to the Russians instead of the Ukrainians. So yeah, we know who's who, what's what, but this rhetoric, not right. But I think they're allowed to do that just so they scare, like a good cop, bad cop kind of interview, or if you want interrogation, but it's an interview. You have a good guy and a bad guy, and the bad guy scared the guy over there, the suspect starts talking with the guy who gives him a little bit of, I'm your friend. And that's the way it goes. The same with Medvedev. I think Medvedev plays the role of the, how do you call that, boogeyman. And Putin is the nice guy, or at least nicer than Medvedev. And you have these kind of guys, but in charge is Putin, supposedly. I read another article a minute ago saying that the Russian opposition leader in the Duma or whatever said that everything is going down. Putin knows that the country is dismantling and so on. How are you allowed to speak like that if Putin is a dictator? How come you're still alive? Probably your sentence should have been stopped. You should have been stopped in the middle of your sentence by someone. You know what I mean? If it's the way this guy tells us. Now we find out that Putin has opposition? Opposition party? In the Duma? In the parliament? Russian parliament? What are you talking about? And you tell me about Putin is the blah, 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 blah. And this guy is allowed to say something like that. To criticize the demonic Putin. I don't know. I mean, you know what I mean? Okay, and that's why these guys, yeah, might work with certain kind of people, but not with you and I. Anyway, I think that was stupid, but I think it's necessary to scare these guys a little bit. Since he doesn't have power, they're always going to be, oh my God, I hope that guy doesn't get near power. Putin is a good guy, he's not using that. Let's talk to Putin. So probably something like this. Psychological, but don't you think, I mean, do not think that the Americans don't know this. It's just me telling you right now, like, oh my God, ooh, Emil the genius. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.